figured.
Yeah, once you reach that that critical mass.
Yeah.
All right, I've started the recording. Welcome everybody. It is December 6th, 2022, and this is the Custodian community meeting. I'm a little bit under the weather today, so hopefully we have lots of things to talk about. A bunch of us are coming back from AWS reInvent, so a lot of sniffles and sickness going around, but we'll power through. I am sticking the notes from HackMD in chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be with the show notes, which we attach to every episode and publish to the GitHub discussions in the Cloud Custodian repo. So with that, any new people today want to say hello? No pressure, but if it's your first meeting, welcome. There we go. Can y'all see that? All right, good. Yeah, so this is your meeting. Just a quick reminder of the format. We basically have an open agenda. At any time, you can add things to this agenda. Usually, I try to get the agenda out as early as like the day before. I wasn't able to get that out until earlier this afternoon. So if you have something in here, just go to HackMD, that URL that I pasted in chat, log in with your GitHub or your Google or whatever. Feel free to add something. What I do is we have a script that gives us the activity over the last 2 weeks, and then you can stick a boom on there like people are doing, and that's what we'll discuss when we get to that section in the meeting. In the meantime, quick update, we're still doing Slack things. As I was saying earlier, I was surprised at the amount of people who were very familiar with Custodian that didn't know about the website or the Slack channel. So that's something that I'll continue to keep pushing and advocating for, and trying to be as vocal about it to get as many people as we can. First up is release update. Is Sunny here? I saw Kapil post something about release. I know we had targeted to release this week since reInvent was closing stuff down. If you're talking, you're muted.
Open mute.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, I think we had talked, there was a couple of PRs we wanted to get in, and I think we also wanted to rebase with the latest SDK for reInvent. As far as those targeting next week, I think most orgs are already in feature freeze, so to speak, for the end of the year. So I'm not sure how relevant will be, but I think that was the desire, was to push to 12 to this next Wednesday, 12/14.
That would be 12/14. Okay, and then you had mentioned earlier as well, you want an 80/11, and it looks like that got merged. Is there anything else that people were looking for in this release? I think that's going to end up being our last of 2022.
Quick question. It sounds like we're pushing out the release, but it's gonna have all the latest and greatest PRs that has been merged, right, Kapil, and not using the old release branch that was created a while ago, right?
Yeah. Releases are always cut off trunk, so it'll have everything that's been merged.
Oh, okay, good to know. All right, then that's fine. Yeah, we have a lot of PR that was merged, and we'll waiting patiently for the release. So looking forward to that.
If we were dealing with more regressions, we might have like a QA branch that we would cut releases off of. But right now, I think we're still good cutting off trunk. So and noted on lots of PR, great work from your team that will be in that release.
Awesome.
All right. Any other questions around release? Or comments? All right, we're back from reInvent. It was great to see so many users there. I think Steve and I hung out for a bit. We had a party and stuff. So I did spend a lot of time trying to tell people about the website and the Slack and this meeting. So hopefully we'll see a bunch of new people join. Anyone joining from reInvent? All right. And then one thing, in 2 weeks, it'll be close to the holidays here in the US. So I'm just going to go ahead and table that last meeting. So let's call this one the last meeting of the year 2022. Anyone have objections to that?
My only question would be, when is the first meeting of the next year?
That would be, you know what? I will definitely put that in the notes. Will be. So we'll come back. It should probably be the 3rd. When are a lot of you coming back? What do people think? Should we do the 3rd or should we?
I'd say not the first week of January.
Yeah, because like there won't be. Yeah, we'll just be trying to catch up. All right, January 10th then. We'll resume January 10th. George to adjust the calendar, and I'll adjust the calendar so it's right, so that when you come back, we don't mess that up. Okay. Anything else meeting related for the rest of 2022? All right. It's been a great year. Kapil, you added something here to the topic. Cask resurrection? Useful.
Yeah. I don't know if people even know what Cask is. It's
Do I tap Cask Python in here?
no, it's in Go, so no. That's not gonna work. It's something in our tools directory, to be clear.
Okay.
So what is Cask? Cask is basically a tool that was written for Custodian that makes it really easy to use our Docker images as though the same way that you use the regular CLI. It's a really thin Golang binary, so that way you can like pull from, like if you use the :dev tagged image, you can pull from trunk and you don't have to worry about dependencies or any of the stuff. It'll just sort of work. Or if you want to pull from a release, I still don't know that anyone's actually using it. There was definitely, like, because we've kind of been a little bit longer in this release cycle for the current release, I've been pointing, trying to get it resurrected because I've had some queries from different users about like wanting to pull stuff that's just got merged, and I don't necessarily want to tell their entire team or org to be like, just pull from trunk is not necessarily the easiest thing. So I'm just curious if anyone's used it, if anyone cares. Like it basically is designed to like it does all the volume mounting and the environment variable passing for all the different providers and the config directory movement, and maps whatever output directory you are into the container as well as your policy files. So it does, it's mostly just trying to automate the what would otherwise be like a fairly esoteric Docker run command, let's say, and as well as automatically pulling in updating images. Just don't know if anyone's used it, anyone's seen it. If we do decide to go back and publish it, I believe we were just dropping binaries onto the website. I think trying to move those to like release artifacts. They would just be Golang binaries. I think there's a separate question: do we sign those now that we're signing at least the rest of our Docker images? So mostly curious is if anyone's ever used it or is even aware of it, and if not, then that's enough of an answer for me that it's pretty low key. It isn't documented on the website and all that, but what the upside is for people. Like, I mean, I think if we move if we move our baseline Docker image to Python 3.11, which has significant performance improvements just on the base core Python, then this might be an easier way for people to get those performance improvements, regardless of what enterprise distro they're on, Linux distro they're on. 3.11 is about, I think, 20 of the 35% faster on most things. if it's doing any significant processing in Python. A lot of Custodian tends to be IO bound, so the hand wave there, if that's actually going to be meaningful for users. But it's still, I think it'll probably, I haven't actually done a lot of measurements for Custodian yet, but the word of mouth I've seen for the rest of the Python ecosystem has been pretty strong.
Who has opinions on this? Because I do, but I want to go last. How often does it update? So, like, how does it work? Like, every time you run it, it does a check, or?
It used to default to 1 hour. I've got a PR up that moves it to like every 6 or 12 hours because it defaults to release images.
Okay.
You can pass a environment variable for setting setting your own image. I've also actually changed that temp stuff to be in your home directory. I find temp gives me the willies. So there are some changes in PR to try to make this a little more well-behaved with regards to where its cache files are. It goes into your standard OS user cache location, which varies by OS, and then increasing the frequency to every like 6 hours, I think, or 12 hours. We can figure out what that is, but yeah.
And it doesn't collide with the pip installed one, like, at all?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I wish I would have known this existed.
It's the easiest way to try the latest and greatest without managing a Git environment.
Because what we do now in the instructions is we say, and if you're on an older distro with older Python, use the Docker container, and then that's it. I'll volunteer to document its usage, though.
Sweet.
So yeah, I'm definitely down for
and suggestions for improvements are welcome. I just I think it'll be helpful if we move to newer Python versions as defaults in our Docker and be able to point people to it. But there is a bit of a logic that it's also a solution for a problem that is solved by more frequent releases as well.
And I think we for sure should, like, if we're gonna bring it back to be fully supported, it should probably be signed and all that stuff.
It should probably be what?
Like, signed and all that stuff. Like, I don't think.
I was just
say do it later. We should. Probably
so Ms. Killing, it's really easy to generate all the cross arch stuffs for the signing on this. So we're using the Sigstore tech stack for signing our Docker images. For this particular one, I'm Sigstore though really wants to push signatures to Docker registry. For this particular one, I was just looking at using the simple thing, which is OpenBSD's Signify tool. Has a simple way that doesn't require looking at GPG or other things, and has equivalent like one-line installs and Go and Rust, in addition to the original C port. But open suggestions on that, and I think in general we want to be in the habit of trying to sign stuff out of CI or out of CI, out of release, let's say.
Yeah. Well, I dig it. Anybody else? Is anybody using Custodian just right out of Git? Like when you're running it, like on your local development, or?
Well, I do because I'm, making changes and pull requests and things like that. I don't run it in production that way.
Right. All right.
I mean, I would have used Cask about 2 years ago before Stacklet and stuff, when I had my own kind of container infrastructure. Now we just pay Stacklet.
Thanks. All right. that is it for the agenda then. Anything else before we get on to the PR party? All right, we have 4 that need attention here. First is this one, AWS RDS list DB instance option groups.
Just a reminder, if someone can hit the merge button for us. I think it has been approved. Just waiting for merge. We can get this in for the upcoming release. That'd be great.
Yeah, it sounds good. We'll try to update that one. There were a few things that were kind of approved or just pending approval, and I know a few of us have been pushing them through. Code Cov was hanging for a little while, but I think that's cool. So we should be able to get this in.
We don't have a programmatic way to see all PRs that we've approved but have not merged, have we?
You can filter on that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're gonna look at this one, AJ?
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I just hit the update. We'll just wait for the checks to clear and merge it, assuming the checks actually clear.
All right. AWS Rust Stage Web v2. This is from KK1532. Whose is this?
It's from us too. Again, waiting for final approval. I guess we make all the updates according to the review. This one is high priority for us. We have I think close to 10 policies that we plan to use with this PR here.
Yeah,
Sunny,
this one would be great to get integrated before the next release, so we can consume it ASAP.
Was Sonny able to join? I don't know if he's here. All right. He is not here, so I'm going to take an item to remind him of this one then.
Okay. Thank you, George.
Just give me one sec here. All right. Moving on, AWS account manage config rule.
I think this is the last one by us here. Again, waiting for review. This PR is actually from me long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a couple comments. I mean, this one looks good to me. It looks like you can see that it was I guess it was adapted from a resource. Adapted from a run mode to an action. That's cool. It all looked fine. What was the one nit there about the action having that like taco config manage rule. It's like, oh, it's on a config rule. Maybe taco manage rule is fine. But the rest of it, I did just want to call out your use of the YAML anchors and aliases. I know we talk about those in different spots, but having it right in the example, I think it really helps that be more useful and clear. So thanks for adding that.
Okay, I'll take a look and update per your feedback. Was there anything else? Or is that it here?
No, I didn't know. So I know you had. I know you and Kapil had some back and forth on that. That looked like that was all resolved. And nothing else jumped out at me. I do have. I'm pulling it down only because we merged in another change on SES statistics that are also. So there's a merge conflict from that. I'm just going to resolve that and push that back up. And then you can make any other changes.
Okay.
Looks fine to me.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
All right. And I got a knack from Sonny in chat. He was knee deep at something, but he'll take a look as soon as he can. All right. This one I was actually just using it as an example on how to boom in the notes. So I didn't have any discussion on this one unless anyone has an opinion on it or wants to discuss it. So that really leaves just these 3 then. So I got an act from Sonny on 1, and AJ, you got an act from 2. And
Yep.
This is probably anything. Should I say anything else on fire before release next week that we should look at here? I don't. 10 cent looks like it's still moving, Kapil. I don't know if you have any extra comments on that.
I think Sonny approved a CAM PR that still needs to be merged, and there's a cost one that I want to try to get through, but you
Okay.
gotta, have a few more days till that. So I'll do for the release per se.
If you have a number handy, I have him on chat, or if you want to reach out to him, you can do that as well. Either way works for me. Anyone boom any issues? Anything burning for anyone?
Actually, I did have a random other topic.
Let's do it.
I was deep diving on GCP stuff, and I realized there's no consistent identifier across resources. So I was looking at adding a get URN, effectively introducing an ARM format for GCP. They have like self-link ID and parents inconsistently used all over the place. I don't know that we would necessarily put it directly into output, but we'd definitely be open to consider it. But I was at least going to try to drop some normalized GUI, URN for GCP resources so that they can be unambiguously integrated, used with Custodian. I don't have a strong direct use case outside of it's been problematic with GCP. It does bring up two other things that I'm looking. It does bring up at least one other thing that I was looking at adding. The specific place on GCP where this has been problematic has been around the org management tree, which is outside of a project and represents like you got folders and projects outside of it. Going to open up a PR, I think. I don't know if it'll be before the release around AWS org accounts as well. And these are org accounts are in AWS are a little bit better in the sense that they're still rooted to the root account. GCP projects in folder hierarchy are not rooted to a root outside of the org ID, whereas in AWS they're still rooted to the root account being the owner of the org. But that will come. I imagine that it will unlock lots of other things that we can do as far as multi-org stuff. It's going to be a little bit weird with org accounts because you can only discover them if you're already have a read-only role into the root type of thing, versus being in a leaf node. With Azure, we currently have subscriptions set up. We have a subscription resource, but it's like our AWS resource in the sense that it's only self-descriptive. I think we want to have like an org subscription thing there too. But this is trying to just bring unification and common addressability to this notion of accounts as a first-class resource, let's say, through discovery. And that wasn't, if anyone has comments, that's welcome to it, but like I just throw something out there. Fair enough.
Help with the org. I know, because it's different, right? It's not, it's above account, so.
It's above accounts, but the ARN format encompasses it pretty well.
Right.
And the ARN still has the root account as the root there.
Yep.
In the context of GCP, it's weird because service principal is going to cross project boundaries, and same thing in Azure, like in that context of in AWS, a principal never really crosses org boundaries outside of interacting with a resource that has like an embedded IAM policy that allows for it. In this context, and so in the org discovery context, the orange always point back to the root in the context of doing it. And in Azure is actually really good about being very consistent about everything having a URL. GCP is not like some things have sublinks, some things have ID, some things have parent, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like just to be consistent there, it makes sense to have some notion of URN or URI, depending on where you diverge from semantic web in RDF land. But just to be able to universally address these resources and or account ID in that context for projects and folder hierarchy would actually reference back to the logical parent for scope, which is the org, because those APIs are like where do you, I think the common question is what does that actually mean? Like that parent thing. It's like where do I go to find this thing?
Yeah.
And putting the org ID there for these resources is how we go find these things, so to speak.
And then there's partition too.
So GCP has no partitions. Google,
Yeah, I know.
Google in their efficient wisdom decided that there is no gov cloud. The default's good enough for everyone.
Yeah.
You have heard of that before. Azure does have partitions, but they encompass that in a URL format.
Subscription, right?
Yeah. So they have 3 sovereign clouds. They have Germany, China, and commercial, let's say. Are the primary ones for Azure. But those are all self-evident from the they effectively use Azure uses UIDs everywhere, and so ends up being the unique thing for them. They also have URLs, but primarily it's uniqueness comes on UIDs.
Cool.
All right. Anything else? I didn't go into the meeting this would be the last one of the year, but I did just pay attention to the calendar and it seems to make the most sense. The dates and stuff for next year were all wrong, so I just sent that correction. So you should see the calendar invites update in your inbox. Sorry for that spam. And with that, anything else? All right. Notes and vid will probably first thing tomorrow morning there after I get it to render and all that good stuff. Last call, going once. Going twice. All right, thanks everyone. It's been a great year. It feels pretty good, We'll see everybody in 2023 and rest up and spend time on things that are important. Cheers, everyone.
Ciao.
Stay safe out there.
Thanks,
Cheers.
everybody.
Thanks,
Awesome. Thanks
guys.
all.